15-minute city is based on the organising principle where a person can access amenities within a quarter of an hour of walking or cycling, and in some cases this could result in restrictions on driving. And the most high-profile example of this plan is in Oxford, where the council have proposed policies to divide the city up into 6 15-minute neighbourhoods. And under the plans, car drivers would have to apply for a permit to travel through the traffic filters up to a maximum of 100 days of the year. Now, we are used to speed cameras on the roads and CCTV cameras in shops and town centres, but up until now, few of us have experienced the disciplinary aspect of surveillance and subsequent punishment for non-compliance. And this is why the scheme in Oxford is different, and maybe we shouldn't automatically tolerate the idea that local councils can ration who uses the roads and when, and to ultimately police it with CCTV. The thing is, how do we distinguish between the conspiracy and stated objectives? Oxford's proposal says nothing about relocating essential services, and I don't actually know how they would go about doing that. They say nothing about retrofitting tech or tailoring businesses to suit local needs. Instead, like we have previously mentioned, the scheme focuses solely on how they will use surveillance infrastructure to police and discipline the way people traditionally moved around. And whichever way you look at it, the concept is a top-down policy driven by the establishment. And if we wanted to dive further into the conspiracy debate, then China serves as a cautionary tale. The country has long been a leader in ubiquitous surveillance of its citizens, not with the goal of crime prevention, but of control. And with at least 6 million CCTV cameras in the UK, one for every 11 people I may add, the UK now ranks alongside China in terms of surveillance capacity. And if we went a little further down that rabbit hole, then George Orwell alerted us to the watching and monitoring aspect of surveillance, and we all know that being watched puts pressure on us to conform to certain rules and norms. And with all of this in mind, ULEZ will be an interesting one to watch. We've had guarantees from Sadiq Khan that the camera network will not be used as a tool to enforce road user pricing. But the fact is, the network is in place, and you can guarantee that at some point in the future, that Rubicon will be crossed. And this has nothing to do whether you want it or not, or whether you like it or not. It has everything to do with whether you believe in what you're being told. And certainly, we read about the slow incremental drifts into authoritarianism in the history books, and the comparatively free societies with which we have grown up in being a rare and precarious achievement. We are simply not aware of how precarious, because this is the only world we have ever known. And there will always be detractors and ideologues who are happy to see being surveilled as a reasonable trade-off, even if it does usher in a fundamental inversion of our freedoms. And don't listen to the activists who masquerade as impartial journalists, gaslighting and lumping us all in with conspiracists in a tunnel vision, desperate attempt to prove their point. If you want my advice, for what it's worth, question everything, but it's best not to be a pathological conformist. Is it all a conspiracy? Well, that's for you to decide. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Alternatively, you can DM me on Twitter at Sean Paul Day. In the meantime, make hay whilst the sun shines.